If you're going to be charging scooters, you're going to have a whole bunch of chargers, so I wanted to share the way that I organize them in my storage shed. So I start out with just a piece of wood here. This is actually plywood. It's about 8 inches by about 24 inches. That's just the gist of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay these all out across and strap them using zip ties, and it's going to just make things so much easier. So let me show you how I do it. Here is what the chargers look like when they come. This is from Lime, but I'm assuming the other companies look very similar. And with Lime, you get 4 of these at a time. With Bird, I think you get 3. I'm not sure about the other companies. But what I'm going to do is lay them out across this piece of wood, just maybe about 1 inch in between. Now what I'm going to do is take a Sharpie marker, and I'm just going to make some marks next to each one of these, about 1 inch from the top and 1 inch from the bottom of each one. And I'm also going to use a power strip, and I'm going to put some marks. I've actually put it on there. See how it's going to fit? It'll fit it like this, just depending on how big your power strip is and how big your piece of wood is. And I'm just going to put just 2 dots on the side of that too. And maybe another one down here. 2 dots down on each side. Now just take those guys off, and you're going to drill a hole. This is a 1/4 inch drill bit, and so I'm going to drill holes with every one of those red dots is. So I've just set this up on a couple of 2x4s here so that I'm not drilling all the way through and into whatever's underneath. There we go. Okay, so now you're going to take some zip ties and put them through. So the first one will go through from the front side, and the next one will go through from the back side, and then just connect those guys together. And you can pull them tight if you want. Okay, you can use all the same color zip tie, just happen to have black and white. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill 2 more holes down here, which is going to help me with a little bit of cord management. Okay, so now we can turn this whole thing over. We've got them all sticking up through there. So now we'll just put these in one by one. So we'll just tie it down. Tighten it down. Make sure the lights are up. So just make sure that your tie isn't directly on top of that light, because you're going to want to be able to see that light. Okay, then we put our surge protector here. Of course, you can't cover up any of the outlets here. This is kind of a little tricky. Okay, so coming out this side are all the charging sides. So you're going to want to put them all on the same direction. All the lights are on that end. And then we're going to take all the power cords, put them into this side. I like to plug them in order. Now what we're going to want to do is kind of do a little cable management here. So we're going to kind of try to wrap these guys up the way they originally came together, but just in one big clump this time. Some of them are going to need to get wrapped more times than others because of the distance away they are. There we go. That looks good. And we're just going to put this down here. And strap that mess of cables in there just so it just doesn't stays out of the way. There's enough of a problem with keeping these things all separate because they do have to stretch out to each one of the scooters. So you're going to have some slack on that side. So then I'm just going to trim up these guys, just cut them off with the scissors. Same thing on the other side. So you're going to want to make sure that you plug your power strip directly into a wall or into a decent size extension cord. These things do draw a decent amount of power. They're almost 100 watts each, and so it's like a 400 watt light bulb. You don't want to have just a little thin extension cord on there. So here in the Pacific Northwest, I found that it's like 6 or 7 cents per charge per scooter. So it's really not that expensive in terms of electricity. It might be a little more or less expensive depending on where you are. One last thing, everything that I've used today in terms of the tools and whatnot, you'll be able to find that down below in the description. If you need to pick up anything, those links support my YouTube channel here. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comments.